very breezy Wednesday morning. And we are into the second day of December for 2020. Hi, everybody. I'm Dan Gresham. Welcome into my house this morning. Glad that you could make it. And if you're just rolling out, grab a cup of coffee. It is not the chilly day that we had yesterday. It's not. You're not going to walk outside and go, oh, I can't. But what you are going to notice is when you walk out, it still feels, the chill is still there, but it's mainly because of the breeze. And if you watched any at all this morning of the morning show on KFDM or KBTV Fox 4, you heard Dana say rain is on the way. So if you've got errands to run this morning, if you're packing lunch to send people out, whether, it's a husband or maybe the kids, or maybe you've got things to do, grab the umbrella, the raincoat. You're going to be glad you did. It's going to be one of those days when it's just going to kind of be problematic. It's going to be everywhere, to say the least. It's not going to be one of those hit and miss things. When it comes, Dana says, it'll be everywhere. It's going to be like a 90% coverage. I always like to explain that too, because people get so confused. When you hear meteorologists talk about 90% coverage of rain, what do you think? I always thought that meant there was a 90% chance it was going to happen, right? I mean, that seems to be kind of the logical thing you would come to, but that's not the case at all. What they're saying, and this has changed through the years, over 40 years of being next to meteorologists and watching them work, I've seen changes. That's one of them. The other is the lengthening of the forecast. They used to do like a 3-day forecast, and now it's like a 7-day forecast. And some people do 10 days, which is really tough for them to be able to do that. But again, the other thing that has changed is because they have now gone to these percentages where they say it's a 90% coverage. And that's exactly what it means, the coverage area. So 90% of our area at any given time will have rain. That's the easiest way to think of it. Not how hard will it rain, not how good your chances are, but how much of the area will see rain. All right, let's jump into it. I want to remind you this morning, if you're here and you want to be part of the show, it's easy. All you have to do is comment at the bottom of the page, same way you would with any Facebook post. You can tell us where you're watching from. You can say good morning. You can just give us a like if you want to. All those things work. You can tell us what's on your mind, concerns, anxieties, thoughts that you may have going into December. We always like to know what's going on with you. And I read every single comment. Now, do I read them all during the live stream? Not necessarily, but I read every single one of them. Let's see who's up with us. Hi, James Poe. Good to have you with us this morning. Also, Donna Womack is up. If I can get her there. We are. Donna, good morning. Rachel Marshall says, good chilly morning. Now, Donna, we could change that, couldn't we? We could take away that Y and maybe one of those L's and put an I. But again, it depends on how you spell it. But I think it is a good chilly morning. You know what I'm going? See where I'm going with that? Or chilly lunch or chilly afternoon. Or, you guys ever had homemade pot pie? That's a great comfort food, homemade pot pie. I don't know why I'm talking food. Doreen Gay, good morning to you as well. Mary Harrison, glad to see you up this morning. Mary Walford, good morning to you as well. Jeannie Foster says, good morning, Dan from Vider, December the 2nd. You keeping the beard? Still pondering it. It took me 30 days to get here, and you know what? And this is just me. I kind of like it. When I first started in this business, actually was when I first came back into this business at Channel 6, doing the 10 o'clock news on Channel 6 back in the late 80s, I had a beard, which was very unusual, but I did. I had a beard. I had it when I came back from radio. So I don't know, maybe, full circle, had it when I started. I don't know. Carlene Purdue, so let me know. If you don't like it, you can tell me. It's not going to hurt my feelings. If you do like it, that's fine too. But there's really only one person that has a vote, and she's in the other room fixing lunch for one of the grandkids. All right, Susan Gidry, good morning to you. Also, Danny Bledsoe said, bell ringing at the Kettle Drive at Parkdale Mall, Salvation Army. Food court today at 11 to 5. Come see me, bring a quarter or two. Danny, that's a great idea. Thank you for publicizing that. And I hope people will take the kettle seriously this year, because if you've been reading this morning, I heard the Salvation Army say they expect to see 50% reduction in the amount of donations this year. 50%. That's significant. Now, we're going to work hard to prevent that from happening because we have our Toy Feast coming up a week from Friday. And we're going to give you a chance to contribute without ever having to leave the house, without ever having to get out of the car, to the Salvation Army, among others. Hi, Tom. Good to see you back in Illinois, and you made it good after a visit home. Paula says, it's already raining in Houston. I saw that, Paula, and yeah, we've got it. It's coming our way. Denise Thomas says, good morning. Justina says good morning. Good morning to you as well. Carolyn Love is up with us this morning, as is Kevin. Hi, Kevin. Teal is watching this morning with us. Also, Carla Palumbo says good morning. Yesterday was a chilly day. It was, but I'm one of those people that there's no day that I probably don't like chili and or gumbo. I'll take it all. But you know, my new favorite one has been lately, because I love soups, has been broccoli cheese. All right, Teal, good morning to you. Anna says, a little temperature change here in Florida. Oh, 48 this morning. Wow, that's parka weather in Florida, I think, right? Christy Marino, good morning to you down in Winnie. Bridget's in Warren. She says she's doing well. I think she says good. Parlene says, keep the beard. Donna says, I like the beard. Janice says, good morning from Crosby. While Susan says, I dread winter temperatures. You know, some people, I used to be one of those people, I loved winter. Oh, cold temperature. And now I'm like, as long as I'm dressed appropriately, you got 3 or 4 layers on, bring it on. It's not a problem. Hi, Rachel. She says, keep the beard. All right. So the votes are coming in. Good morning from Dallas-Fort Worth. Pretty cool to see you again. I moved from Jasper, Texas back in 1999. Well, it's nice to see you as well this morning. I'm sorry it's been so long. We should have gotten together sooner, but I'm glad to hear you're doing well. I hope you're doing well. Glad to see you're up. James Poe, yesterday was chicken and sausage gumbo day. Well, you know what, James? I talked about it the other day. We had never done turkey gumbo at my house after Thanksgiving, and we had a lot left this year. We kind of overbought. We bought a couple of turkeys, and we didn't go through it all. So yesterday, my wife made, actually 2 days ago, but yesterday it was better, right? Isn't that the way it always is with gumbo? Second day is always better, when it's absorbed all the flavors and everything. So yesterday was good. And I'm planning on having another bowl, I'll be honest with you, for lunch today. All right, let's jump over to KFDM.com, see what's happening in your headlines this morning. You don't want to watch me all morning. There you go. Aunt remembers nephew who died in a fire as a very caring, charismatic child. A sad story outside of Vidor, house burned down. 11-year-old boy died. Father was injured seriously, had to be transferred to Galveston to the burn center there. Also this morning, this is the story that should catch your attention. Jefferson County and Port Arthur setting daily records for COVID-19 cases. This is the number you don't want to see right here, 20%. Needs to be below 15. And why is that important? Because the governor has already put in place mandates that say once we are at 15% of bed space or bed capacity in Jefferson County, that is COVID, lab tested COVID patients, then it requires a cutback from 75 to 50% in capacity at restaurants and other businesses. This is day 6. If we remain at this pace and we stay at this percentage, you're going to see reductions. And this is not something that's just happening here, but this is specific to Jefferson County. Every county has this mandate. But in Southeast Texas, Jefferson County is the only one apparently in danger at this time of having to roll back. And we're talking about capacities, right? And it's not just restaurants. I think it also applies to some businesses as well. So that is certainly a story that you want to keep your eye on. Also, more and more people we know are being infected. Tyler County judge. I have known Jacques Blanchette for probably 40 years, if not longer. Actually went to college together. And Jacques has been the county judge in Tyler County for a long time, but he is now confirmed as having COVID-19. So if you're in the Woodville area or if you know Jacques, please tell him that Dan's thinking about him and hoping he's feeling better. And apparently he got pretty ill, according to the folks there at KJAS, our media partner. But there it goes. It runs through the list, too, of Tyler County COVID cases. They've had 10 new cases since the last time they posted. There were 200 lab-reported positive cases of COVID yesterday in Jefferson County. 200. 200. That's more than we had for weeks. 200 in one day. That set a new single-day record. That's not the kind of record you want to hear about. That's not the kind of record you would be proud of. You know, it's not something you're going to go, oh, yeah, that's something we've been trying to avoid. And Jefferson County Judge Jeff Brannick saying, that we've got to do a better job or we're going to have a problem in our hospitals. And from the beginning, we've talked about that. That the number one thing to keep your eye on, and let's go to the Texas COVID dashboard that is being presented, all of this information collected by Texas Health and Human Services. And again, when you see this, and this is what we've been talking about, you can dispute numbers, you can argue numbers, you can say these are inflated, you can say they're not accurate, they're not being reported. But these are, and I show you right here, what does it say? Lab confirmed COVID-19 patients. These are the ones that we know about. That currently in Texas hospitals, for the first time since July, more than 9,000 Texans are in the hospital with COVID-related issues. And this graph on the right shows you the peak point, July 22nd, and we are headed back that direction pretty quickly. It'll also, you can go into the regional hospitals. We are Region R. So you can go and look at the information there. And then you can also go in and you can simply click there and it will give you the region. Now, note that we have 13 available ICU beds as of this morning. 13. Why is this something that we should watch? And again, whether you agree with the numbers, disagree with the numbers, asking questions about, are there false positives? Because the reality is these are people taking up space in the hospital. And once you overwhelm the hospital system, what do we do? What do we do when people have emergencies? What do you do when somebody has a heart attack? What do you do when somebody has a stroke? What do you do when a child breaks an arm, or needs some kind of emergency services? And go beyond that. Don't just think about, okay, we're going to overwhelm this. What happens to the people who are on the front line, who are working to try to help these people? And every single day is the demand, and the demand increases and increases and increases. We're only, 3 or 4 days after Thanksgiving. When you're going to see the big increase, if we're going to see a surge post-Thanksgiving, it's going to be a week from now. And then maybe as much as 14 days from now. And that's about the time you're getting ready for Christmas holidays. I know, everybody is, it's like, there's a vaccine coming, blah, blah, blah. Well, yeah, there is. There is a vaccine coming, and it will be a godsend. But here's the problem. It's not going to be here. You're going to hear stories that are going to say the vaccine will be in Texas in 2 weeks. And it will be. But the problem is the number of doses of that vaccine will be nowhere near the number needed to vaccinate the population of the state of Texas. It won't be enough to vaccinate the population of Jefferson County in 2 weeks. Yeah, it will, over time, obviously, you will have more production, you'll have more coming in. But folks, it's not going to happen in 2 weeks. It's not going to happen in a month. It's probably not going to happen in 6 months. Because you got to think of how many states, how many countries, all demanding that they want this, all paying for it. Then you have all the logistical things that have to happen. How do you vaccinate, There's one thing I obviously I'm old enough that I do remember of the polio vaccine and having to go with my parents. We went to the local school and everybody stood in line, and you got the vaccine. And that may be where we're headed with this. But also keep in mind, 2 is an important number when you're talking about the COVID vaccine, because 1 dose is not going to do it. This is a 2-part vaccine. And boy, are there some very, very nervous healthcare professionals who are saying, okay, we get them in to take 1. But how do you make sure you get them in to take the second? And what if you take the first one and you don't feel well after you take it? Efficacy, the effectiveness of a vaccine, has nothing to do with side effects. And when I say side effects, I'm not talking about serious, negative, bad side effects. I'm talking about a headache. I'm talking about feeling feverish. It's very likely that you feel that sometimes when you get a flu shot. So then you have that happen and people go, well, I'm not going through that again. It's going to be difficult. And then you already have the anti-vaccine mentality that exists as well. So it's going to be I'm telling you, it's going to be a lot darker before it gets lighter with the whole pandemic thing. I'm not sure we've seen, and most people seem to agree, a larger number of people are agreeing now that, it will be darker before this thing is over. And now, listen, this is the kind of stuff that I like. I always love the comments. Oh, now we are a 2-part vaccine. You have no idea what you're talking about. Liar. Lori, why would I make things up? This is why I always ask people, what would be my motivation? Do you think that, I don't understand why people would think. Now, if you want to say that you're mistaken, that, you must not have been reading the story, I would encourage you, before you insinuate or suggest, that maybe you do make sure that what you're insinuating is correct, because I promise you this is a 2-part vaccine. A 2-part vaccine. It's been said from the very beginning. I don't think that I know of, any of the makers are doing at this point a single dose vaccine. They're all 2-part vaccines, and that's part of their concern. Anyway, I always like, where did we go? What happened to us? That this is where we go automatically, is that we start throwing things out like that, and that we make accusations. I find it sad. I really do when I read that. I find that sad. All right, that being said, let's move on. A couple other things I wanted to hit you with before I've got to go back to the office this morning. Here is one. I wanted to make sure that if you're getting to the end of the year and you have one of those insurance accounts, it's called flexible spending, and that you have a flexible spending account and you put in all year, that when you get to the end of the year, make sure you've used it all. But there are some programs now, and you might want to ask, or you might want to have whoever is insured in your family, ask the insurer, can I roll these dollars over? Here's a story, USA Today, talking about that very thing. That there are some employers that offer the ability to carry over $500 of unused funds to the following year. I don't know about your house, but at my house, we have a flexible spending plan. We just about every year will make sure at our age that we spend it all, whether it's dental or eyeglasses or whatever, but it seems to go. But it would be nice to know that if you had some left over at the end of the year, that you could in fact roll it over. All right, and let's finish up this morning on a bit of a lighter note. Here you go. I thought this was pretty interesting. And that is, this is Houston Chronicle, by the way. So you can show your friends this. Watch 2020's record-breaking hurricane season unfold in 76 seconds. I thought this was pretty clever. Jake Karstens did this, and he just took all of the different storm tracks and he put them into one post. And it's in 76 seconds, you see the busiest hurricane season on record unfold right in front of you. And it doesn't hurt because it's not real. I mean, this is a season that's over. You can still have storms in December, but that is very, very rare, and very seldom would they ever getting close to us. All right, so go check it out on the Chronicle. Again, I appreciate your time. And let me just step back again, and I just want to make sure that, again, Lori, you understand. I just want you to know that there's no reason for me to give you misinformation. I have no... Why would I want to do that? I'm going to give you the best information I possibly can. I promise you I do my research. I work hard to try to make sure that what I'm passing along to you, as good as I possibly can, that it's good. Do I make mistakes? Of course I make mistakes. Do sometimes we overstate that? Of course we do. We're humans. But believe me, it will be an effort. It will be an effort on my part to make sure that what we share is the best we can. I would never have any reason that I can think of that I would want to lie to you. All right. So that being said, it's a good time to move on. I appreciate your time this morning. I want to remind you there are lots of ways you can follow what's happening. You can join us here on the Facebook page, of course. We're here every morning, or at least we try to be, for the at-home update. You can also follow us on Twitter, Morning TV Dan, and on YouTube, we have a channel, Dan's at Home. You can subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. You just subscribe, and then we try to post our updates there every single day. Again, hit me with a like if you don't mind. If you enjoy the updates, we would appreciate that. And then we'll look forward to seeing you bright and early tomorrow morning. We'll be back on KFDM and KBTV, and of course, we'll be back here at home with the update on that third day of December. Till then, remember, rain coming our way, so grab the umbrella or the rain gear on the way out the door this morning. Take care of yourselves, reach out to somebody, do something kind today, and we'll get together again tomorrow.